Okay, this is the '06 Hummer with the tire pressure monitor sensor light on, and even with the vehicle started, the light stays illuminated. So that's going to tell us that one of the sensors is not sending a proper signal. So let's go figure out which one it is.
This is an animation that shows the TPMS system, and what the TPMS system does, it monitors the air pressure in all four tires. And if you have a tire that is low in air pressure, the computer that gets the signal for all four tires will turn the TPMS light on. Usually a difference of like 4 to 5 psi would turn your TPMS light on. So that's a real easy fix. The first thing you should do in diagnostics is always just go check the air pressure of all four tires and make sure that they all are reading the same air pressure. Then go for a test drive and verify if the light goes on or off. If the light stays on after setting, in this case, the air pressure to 32 psi at all four wheels, then the next most likely cause is you have a weak battery in one of your TPMS sensors. So this week, each wheel has a TPMS sensor that's usually part of the valve stem on the tire, and they have these little batteries inside, and they have a lifespan. And when that lifespan is spent, then you need to replace your sensor. But when the battery goes low, you'll get a TPMS light. So when you see this light, you will have a code. So it does produce a code. So if the code refers to one wheel, you would want to recheck the air pressure on that tire. But then you will probably have to replace that TPMS sensor because the battery's low. You cannot replace the batteries. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what we will be doing in this video, which is to change the TPMS sensor, put in a new one, and reinstall the tire onto the car. The problem with this is these TPMS sensors have a identification number. So when you rotate your tires, the computer knows where the sensors are in relationship to the four wheels. You have to tell the computer the new identification number and then tell the computer what wheel the sensor is on. So whenever you replace a TPMS sensor, you have to reprogram them. So programming the sensor is necessary so the computer knows what sensor you installed with the identification number and also what wheel you put it on. This is a crucial step in order to turn off the TPMS light.
Okay, customer brought in this 2006 H3 Hummer. The lights on the dash, the TPMS light, that's the tire pressure monitoring system, usually indicates that one of the sensors may be bad. So how do you find out which sensor's bad? We're going to use this TPR tool, a tire pressure reset tool. First thing you got to do is get the tool out of the box and program it with the car's information. So let's go ahead and get that done. OTC takes a minute to fire up. We're going to use the standalone, Bluetooth disabled. We're going to go ahead and go through this menu until we find the one that we're looking for. This is an H3. And that's the year range. This one's 2006. So we're set to go. So the next thing you got to do is we're going to put this right by the valve stem. Once you program the information, you're going to get a screen that says read sensor. We're going to hold it right next to the valve stem on the rubber and hit read sensor, and it should found. And it even tells us what the air pressure is in there, 39.6. Let's go to the next one. We're just going to go around and do all four of them. Okay, this one's found it, 42.8. So far we got two good ones. Let's check the other side. Found 40.4. Guess it's this front one. Last one. Last one's always the best one, right? Read sensor. Found. Wait a second. 38.8. So we just checked all 4 of them, and they're all good. Oh, the spare tire. That's right. Sometimes the spare tire has a sensor in it also. Let's check this one right here. We go. Oh, failed. Let's try that again. I always like to double check my test to make sure I did it right. Okay, that one failed. So there is a bad one. We found it. It's in the spare tire. So we're going to take it over to the tire machine and show you how to change it. Okay, we already got the new sensor. This is what it looks like, so you know what we're looking for when you get the tire off. Actually, the nice thing about these is you don't have to take the tire all the way off. We're just going to break the outer bead, push the rubber down so we can access the sensor, and we can just change it that way. So here we go. We've got to get the air out of here first. Take a look. This wheel's already balanced. And the nice thing about this, we're just going to break the outer bead and then reseat it. I'm not going to change the position on the rim, so I'm not going to have to rebalance it at all. A lot of air in there. I get this thing positioned while a little bit of air is still coming out. I'm going to put this as close to the rim as I can without actually touching the rim. And once all that air is out, I'll break the bead. All right, there we go. Once you have the bead broken, put it up on the turntable and lock the clamps on the machine. I like to lock the clamps so I can rotate this around to where it's convenient for me to work. And right there is our sensor. So I need to grab a couple tools so we can loosen this outer nut on here. Okay, I already got my tool on here. Just break this loose and make sure this doesn't fall down into the center of the tire, because it's a pain to get out if it does. Let's get that nut off. It just slides down out of there. And we can slide the new one in. You want to make sure that this is angled in. You don't want it angled out like this, because the tire will hit it. Just fit it carefully in there. I'm going to spin this all the way down by hand, and then I'm going to use an inch-pound torque wrench. The specification for this is 70 inch-pounds. And so I'll use the same socket. I already got my torque wrench ready to go. And I just have to listen and feel for the click. It's going to be very light. Try that again. I think it's an 11. I got a 12. So the old one was a 12 millimeter and the new one's an 11 millimeter. So make sure you got the right size tools. And here we go. There it is. That's it right there. And that thing's torqued. Now all I have to do is put some air in it and seat the bead. I got to take the valve core out so that enough air will rush inside here to stretch the bead over the rim. Save my parts off to the side because I'm going to have to put that back in a minute. And step the pedal down. a little help. And that's it. I got my bead seated. Go ahead and put my valve core back in and then fill it up to the correct spec. Is it 38 PSI for this one? 40 PSI. Okay, thank you. So we're going to put 40 in. Remember, on this machine, the needle cycles back and forth, so if I want to read the actual pressure, I have to take my foot off the pedal. Getting close. And that looks like 40 right there. Turn the hose back to where it belongs. And then to get the wheel off here, we're just going to step and release the clamps pedal. And we're ready to put it back on. Except I got to put my valve cap on there. Now we're ready to put it back on. Okay, I just want to test the new sensor in here and make sure it's working properly. Found 39.2 PSI, so that one's good. And what we should do is then go inside and make sure the light's out on the dash. Seeing it? Okay, so the last thing we want to do when we're done is just verify that all the lights are out. See, it's on. Once we start the car, it should go out. There it goes. Successful. Awesome. I love when a job is completed properly.